The Old Testament right up to the New Testament in the Bible, the River Jordan carries a significant spiritual symbolism. It has played a vital spiritual role at every important spiritual juncture in Bible history. In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into the shocking discovery in Jordan about God's prophecy. What makes the Jordan River sacred? What is the significance of the Dead Sea and its environs to the Jordan River, and how Bible prophecy about the Jordan River and the end of times are already being fulfilled? So if you are ready, buckle your seatbelt, and let's go on this adventure. Mentioned in the Bible 185 times, this 251-kilometer stretch of sacred waters flows right into the Dead Sea, otherwise known as the Salt Lake. In recent times, water from this incredible river has been used in baptism and other spiritual and religious rites. Because this river is considered holy, baptisms of dignitaries and even royalty have been performed in this river for centuries. The Jordan River flows from north to south and through the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea. Interestingly, both Jordan and the West Bank take their names from the Jordan River. This underscores the importance of this body of water to the territories around Israel, Jordan, Syria, and Palestine. The River Jordan was both an obstacle and a pathway to the children of Israel on their journey from Egypt to Canaan land after wandering for 40 years in the desert. According to the book of Joshua, the obstacle was turned into a pathway when Joshua instructed the priests to step their feet into the Jordan River carrying the Ark of God on their shoulders. The river parted into two and paved a pathway for the Israelites to step into the Promised Land. Joshua 3:15-17. And as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest. That the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap very far from the city Adam, that is besides Zaratan. And those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, failed and were cut off, and the people passed over right against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan. This wasn't the first time the Jordan River would supernaturally part into two. In the days of Elijah the great prophet, Elisha, his servant, struck the river with the mantle of Elijah after he was mysteriously carried by a chariot of fire into heaven, and the river parted into two for Elisha to walk through on dry ground. 1 Kings 2:12-14. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes, and rend them in two pieces. He took off also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, where is the Lord God of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over. Elisha, the former student of the prophet Elijah, once instructed a leprous Syrian general named Naaman to go and take a bath in the Jordan River. His obedience to the instruction of the prophet made him totally healed from head to toe. 2 Kings 5:9-10. So Naaman came with his horses and his chariots and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. In 2 Kings 5-14. Then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Again in the New Testament, Jesus began his earthly ministry after being baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan River. Yet again, the Bible records that the heavens were opened. A dove descended bodily upon Jesus, and an audible voice from heaven was heard saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Matthew 3:13-16-17. Then cometh Jesus from Galilee to Jordan unto John, to be baptized of him. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water. And, lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove, and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Among many other reasons, these are some reasons why many consider the Jordan River to be of utmost spiritual importance, and many pilgrims to Israel do not consider their pilgrimage complete until they get baptized in the Jordan River or perform one form of spiritual activity or the other. This location may very well hold the key to humanity's biggest issues about religion. Additionally, people have been known to use the mud from the Jordan area of the Dead Sea to treat all kinds of skin infections. It is said that Dead Sea mineral mud has hydrating, beautifying, and putative properties used by many skincare companies around the world. Noteworthy about the Jordan River is its connection to the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, Salt Lake, or the Eastern Sea as it is called by the Bible, is bordered by the Jordan River to the east and the West Bank, and Israel to the west. History shows that Herod the Great made use of the Dead Sea as a health resort, making it one of the Earth's first health spas ever. Some scholars believe that the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah are buried beneath the Dead Sea. An archaeological survey of the area southeast of the Dead Sea was conducted by Walter Rast and Thomas Schaub. This survey revealed 4 other sites which suggests that they could be the cities of the plains in the Old Testament, according to Genesis 13:10, Genesis 14:3, and Genesis 19:28. The Dead Sea got its interesting name from the degree of its salinity. The Dead Sea is actually about 10 times as salty as the ocean or any other sea. As a result of this harshness, it is difficult for plants and animals to survive in its environs, hence the reason why it's called the Dead Sea. The prophet Ezekiel predicted that the Dead Sea will become alive when fresh water flows from Jerusalem into the Dead Sea and brings life into it. Ezekiel 47, 7-10. When I had returned, behold, at the bank of the river were very many trees on one side and on the other. Then said he unto me, These waters issue out toward the east country, and go down into the desert, and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the waters shall be healed. And it shall come to pass, that everything that liveth, which moveth, whithersoever the rivers shall come, shall live. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come thither, for they shall be healed, and everything shall live whither the river cometh. And it shall come to pass that the fishers shall stand upon it from Engedi even unto Eneglaim. They shall be a place to spread forth nets. Their fish shall be according to their kind, as the fish of the great sea, exceeding many. Traces of life have begun to develop around the shore of the Dead Sea and even within the body of water. It has been observed that the salt content of the Dead Sea could drop from 35% to 30% in times of flood. However, one winter in 1980, the normally dark blue sea suddenly turned red. Researchers from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem later found a growing population of algae called Dunaliella, nourished carotenoid containing red pigmented cyanobacteria, which was responsible for the color change. More recently, in 2011, a group of scientists from Be'er Sheva, Israel, and Germany discovered fissures in the floor of the Dead Sea by scuba diving and observing the surface. These fissures allow fresh and brackish water to enter the Dead Sea. They sampled biofilm surrounding the fissures and discovered numerous species of bacteria and archaea. Who would have thought that the day would come when we would see life in the Dead Sea? But with the major signs as predicted by the prophet Ezekiel being fulfilled, we can safely look forward to the time when other prophecies will be fulfilled as well. We can say with confidence that the promise of the rapture and the prediction of the end of the world is already set in motion. This is where we draw the curtain for this episode. Before we go, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Do you consider predictions fiction or reality? What are your views? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up to encourage us to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching as always. I will see you in the next video.